Yes, let's continue with the lesson that we had started last time, that is Introduction to Microbiology. And we had seen a lot of applications of different types of microorganisms, especially in the dairy industry we had seen last time. So we have seen how microorganisms are useful for preparing a lot of dairy products like butter, yogurt, cheese, curd, right? Even vinegar, so many products, bread, right? Even economically important products of the industry. So like that, this lesson will continue and you will have the role of microorganisms in many other aspects. Okay, like in every sector, microorganisms are something inevitable in the medical field. Okay, even there are a lot of applications of microorganisms for environmental betterment or cleanup because of the pollution that is causing. So like that, we will see some more further examples and we'll be able to finish the lesson today. Okay, because it's ultimately only about examples. So names of the microbes you'll have to remember and you'll have to know their role. Okay, so let's go ahead with the next one. And that is about the role of microorganisms in the medical field. Okay, now you know very well when you talk about the medical field, the doctors use lots of medicines, they prescribe it, correct? And this is a word which you must have heard very commonly, that is antibiotics, correct? So it's like, suppose sometimes you fall ill and you go to the doctor will diagnose what is the disease. Maybe the doctor will tell you to carry out some test, like a blood test or something, and then the disease would be diagnosed, what you're suffering from. According to that, it might happen that the doctor will prescribe you certain antibiotics. Okay, so anybody can tell me the meaning of the word antibiotic? Have you heard about this before? No? Okay, fine. Let's take a simpler understanding of this term. See, the word is antibiotic. You know the meaning of the word anti. Anti means, what is the meaning of this word anti? We are using it for a lot of opposite. Okay, any other? Like we say antiseptic, anthelmintic, no? ऐसे commonly use करते हैं. Anti means against. Okay, that's the correct meaning of the word anti, against. And it is biotic, which has come from the word bio, that is life. So simply the meaning of this word is against life. So when the doctor is prescribing you antibiotics, is the doctor against your life?
No.
Of course not. So the doctor is against the life of what?
Bacteria or virus.
The pathogen inside you. Correct? The doctor is ultimately targeting that the pathogen inside you should perish so that you are healthy enough. So the principle behind this is that, okay, take a look at here. Okay, suppose now, especially when it comes to microorganisms like bacteria. Okay, what happens is, suppose there is a colony of bacteria, any species, we just say species A, for example. Okay, any species of a bacteria, and bacteria are microorganisms which normally do not live alone. They are unicellular, but there are no single ones. They always live in groups or colonies. So there will be many cells of bacteria A. Okay, all of them are of the same species. In the same medium, suppose there is another bacterial species B. Okay, another species. It can be any species. We are not giving it a name. We are just calling them as A and B. Okay, so this might be, say, another species of bacteria of some other structure or whatever. Okay, now because both these bacterial colonies are present in the same medium, that means they are surviving on the same resources. Okay, for their multiplication and increase in the number. So because of the same medium, there is competition between them. A and B are competing with each other for the resources. So in short, you can say that A doesn't like the growth of B and B also doesn't like the growth of A. Simple, correct? So A will try its best to do something so that B will get killed or inhibited, and B will also try to do the same thing against A. There's like a fight going on. Okay, so how do they fight now? Chemically. Bacteria A will produce a chemical which will kill B. Okay, bacteria A will produce certain chemicals which will try to kill B, but that same chemical will not be harmful for A itself. Okay, and B, some of them may die because of the chemicals, but some of them they may not die because of the chemicals. So they could be resistant to that chemical. Those who are resistant, they will survive and they will produce another chemical which will try to kill A. That's how they fight. Both the chemicals will be different. Every species will produce a certain chemical. That chemical which we are talking about is nothing but antibiotic. Okay, so suppose if you are infected with bacteria B, so the doctor will prescribe you an antibiotic which is produced by A, so that when you consume it, it will kill the B inside you, or vice versa, whatever. Okay, so it's like there are many species of bacteria, even certain fungi which produce such antibiotics. And those chemicals we can extract and we can store it. So when the doctor is giving you antibiotic, it is mostly in the form of these tablets or capsules. So they are the antibiotics produced by the respective microorganism which is stored in this form. Getting it? So when you consume it inside your system, they will dissolve and they will go into your blood and it will reach the respective organs. That's the meaning of the word antibiotic. Is the concept clear? Antibiotic ka? Okay.
Yes.
So after you understand the meaning of this antibiotic, let us take a look at some examples of different microorganisms which produce antibiotics. So simply antibiotic means the substances produced by one microorganism that can kill or inhibit the growth of other microorganisms. That's why instead of using only bacteria, we are talking about microorganisms in general. So antibiotic produced by a fungi can kill a bacteria or vice versa, any microorganism. Okay. Now this antibiotic that we know in the medical field today, this was firstly, people were not aware about something like this. It was discovered by chance, and it was discovered by this person, the first antibiotic, that is penicillin. It was discovered by this person, Dr. Alexander Fleming, in 1928. Okay, he was working in a laboratory, and he was actually, like, when he was carrying out his experiments, he was not aware that there is something called antibiotic or he has to discover that or something. This was an accidental discovery. Okay, like his glasswares, he was working on actually another bacteria called Staphylococcus. Okay, so laboratory mein glassware aate hain, petri dish. So he had actually before leaving for the day, like before winding up his work in the evening, what he did कि glassware के plate में Staphylococcus का culture तैयार किया. Okay, that bacteria, he wanted that bacteria to grow by the time he comes back the next day and continue with his work. So Staphylococcus का bacteria वो चाहता था कि बढ़ जाए. But while he was doing it, there was something called contamination which happened. Contamination मतलब ये जो fungus है, Penicillium notatum. Fungus produces lot of spores, you know that. So इनके spores वहाँ हवा में बहुत, and somehow these spores, they entered the petri dish where he was trying to inoculate or culture Staphylococcus. So next day when he came back, what happened was, I can show you something like this. Suppose if this is the petri dish, a glass plate, okay, where he had cultured Staphylococcus. So he had cultured Staphylococcus somewhat like this, and next day he was expecting कि वो bacterial jelly multiply कर लेगा and lot of Staphylococcus would be there. But next day, what happened? Instead of Staphylococcus, he saw that there is a clear area in the glass plate, which was not Staphylococcus bacteria. So उसका chemical analysis जब किया तो पता चला कि it was some other chemical which was produced by this fungus, because of which Staphylococcus could not grow and increase in number. So that was an antibiotic. For the first time it was discovered. So when this was known to people, many people got fascinated. Okay, if one microorganism can produce something to kill other microorganisms, why can't we find out from more other microorganisms what chemicals they are preparing, so that we are able to try to find a cure against many diseases. Many bacteria, fungi, they cause a lot of diseases. Okay, so they attack our system. So we can use these chemicals produced by their own enemies to kill the pathogens and protect ourselves from diseases. As a discovery work. So you have to remember, the first antibiotic was discovered by Dr. Alexander Fleming, and which was obtained from the fungus Penicillium notatum. Repeat this word. Naam bolo.
Penicillium
Penicillium
notatum.
notatum.
Penicillium notatum. Okay. Now see, later on, many people started carrying out such explorations as researches, and many more antibiotics were discovered by various other species of bacteria and fungi. These are some of the examples. Maximum number of antibiotics is produced by the genus called Streptomyces, which is a bacterial genus. And different species of this bacteria, they produce different antibiotics. Every species of bacteria cannot produce every antibiotic. So which one is producing which one, that should be known. So these examples you can remember. Okay, like you have Streptomyces aureofaciens, tetracycline antibiotic. Okay, Streptomyces venezuelae, chloramphenicol. Streptomyces remosus, oxytetracycline. Okay, Erythrius ka erythromycin. Fridae neomycin. Canamycetius canamycin. Gracious streptomycin. Bacillus subtilis bacitracin. This table, as much as possible, you can remember. Streptomyces is the most common genus. Got it? So in the exam, suppose you are writing a brief answer on antibiotics, and if you want to just give the names of antibiotics as examples, you can give some of them. Streptomycin, tetracycline, penicillin, neomycin, etc. Got it? So these examples, this lesson is all about examples ultimately. So you have to remember them. Got it? Understood the concept of antibiotics properly? See this. There are many other antibiotics like penicillin, cephalosporins, something called monobactam, bacitracin, etc., gentamicin, tetracycline. They are used against a lot of bacteria. And overall, bacteria is classified into two types. It is called gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria. Gram-positive, gram-negative means, like, see, bacteria are very microscopic. You can observe them only under the microscope. Correct? So there was this person, a scientist called Christian Gram. He had invented a staining technique. Okay, because if you directly take a bacterial culture and try to observe it under the microscope, you will find it very transparent. It won't be clearly visible. So you have to stain it with something so that the cell wall of bacteria becomes colored and you can visualize it. So ऐसा करके this person had invented a staining technique which was called as a Gram stain from the name of the person. So those bacteria which can take up that stain and get that color under the microscope are called gram-positive. Those which do not take up the stain are called gram-negative. For your level, understand only this much about gram stain. Okay. And one example you can remember, like this antibiotic called rifamycin. This is found to be effective against tuberculosis. TB is a very emerging disease these days, and there are more and more new strains coming up, and TB is becoming more and more severe also. Okay, so that's why when we are talking about antibiotics, there is another thing which I would like to tell, like especially in our country, we have this habit of self-medication. Self-medication means for every medicine, you don't take a doctor's prescription. For small ailments on a regular basis, we have the habit of taking medicines on our own. Yes, that is actually dangerous to some extent, especially if you take antibiotics without any advice. Okay, the reason is, if it's like, for example, I have a small cockroach in my home and I'm using a huge sword to kill it. Nahi chahiye na? Okay, so it's like, if there is only a mild infection which can go away on its own, why should I take a very strong dose of antibiotic? In that process, microorganisms का property क्या है पता है? They become very resistant very soon. Today you might be able to kill that bacteria inside you, but then the next generations of the bacteria become so resistant that today you might have taken that medicine and it was effective, but in the coming years it won't remain effective. Bacteria resistant हो जाएगा. That's the reason that earlier crocin which used to come, अब वो हो गया advanced crocin, because वो पहला वाला crocin is not effective anymore. The same is happening for tuberculosis. The strain is becoming more and more severe and many people are getting infected with it. उसका दवा, पहले वाला दवा आज उस पे काम नहीं कर रहा. That's why it is very important to remember that self-medication has to be avoided. It's always to be taken under doctor's prescription. And especially you have to take care about it when you're taking antibiotics. Getting it? Because it's like we might be getting treated in a day or two. We feel कि डॉक्टर के पास जाने का क्या जरूरत है, मैंने दवा ले लिया, ठीक हो गया. But in a sense, you are encouraging the microorganism to evolve and become more resistant. So that will create problem in the future. And any human being, अगर उसको दवाई लेना है तो एक particular dose से ज़्यादा नहीं ले सकते. Getting it? The dosage, if it is too strong, you might be able to kill the pathogen, but in that process you will kill the human being also. ऐसा तो इलाज का क्या मतलब है ना, जहाँ इंसान भी नहीं बचा. Getting it? That is why when it comes to antibiotics, you have to be very careful. Never do any self-medication. Now you know the scientific reason behind that. So you must take care of that and make sure that you are telling that to people who know you also. Getting it? This is really very important. Okay. उसको OTC drugs करके बोलते हैं, over the counter drugs. You go to any medical shop or a chemist, you can ask for any antibiotic, that person won't ask for a prescription. मिल जाता है आसानी से, but वैसे लेना नहीं चाहिए. Getting it? Okay. Whenever it is about any infection, okay, it is always to be taken under the advice of a medical professional. Without that, should not be done. ठीक है? कोई और दवा हो तो अलग बात है. ठीक है? Okay. Now that was about antibiotics. Okay. Now let's go to some other sector, and that is about the fuels. Okay. Now we have already seen that lesson on towards green energy. Correct. So we have seen something called fuels, biofuels. हमने देखा है कि any such substance or a material which when burnt या combusted will provide energy. उसको हम बोलते हैं fuels. So now there are many microorganisms also which can provide you fuels. Okay. So what are the types? Okay. The first type of a fuel which is produced by microorganism is methane gas. Okay. It's like if you go to, dumping ground, right?
Yes.
It's like a huge ground or an open area where there are only garbage which is thrown. Or you can imagine चावल के खेत में जाओ, rice के field. Rice field, if you have been in your native place or somewhere, you must have seen, it is always flooded with water. Right? So there is organic decomposition which is taking place. Okay. Other example you can see, जैसे road side में जो बड़े-बड़े garbage bins होते हैं, most of the time they are not picked up for a lot of days. Garbage is just dumped over there, and especially in the monsoon when it rains, तो वो गीला रह जाता है, तो कितना गंदगी आता है, smell. That is methane gas. It is also called as gobar gas. Okay. Yes, you know what is gobar. I don't need to go into the science behind that, right? So when you say methane gas, Abhinam is happy today also, very good. So now when you say methane gas, okay, microbial anaerobic decomposition. In life process 1, you have learnt about respiration, aerobic, anaerobic respiration. So here, when microorganisms carry out anaerobic respiration of biodegradable waste product. So you have agricultural waste, industrial waste, which can biodegrade. Now, biodegrade means like materials like plastic or metals and all won't come in over here. Okay, you can say fruit and vegetable fields, leftover food, okay, the twig materials of plants, agricultural field mein nikalne wale weeds, okay, all these things which can decompose. So their decomposition by microorganisms in an anaerobic way gives rise to methane gas. Okay, the chemical formula for methane is CH4. That's the formula, methane gas ka. CH4. That is the gas which is given out. Okay, so this methane gas, if it is collected properly, it can be very nicely used as a fuel. Okay, the second fuel that microbes can give you is ethanol, ethyl alcohol. So we have already seen that whenever anaerobic respiration takes place by yeast in animal cells, it gives rise to ethyl alcohol. Okay, so fermentation of molasses. Molasses मतलब you know sugar cane का juice निकालने के बाद जो रह जाता है ना, if you go to any shop selling sugar cane juice, तो machine से pass करके पूरा juice extract करता है, that is what you drink. After that the leftover which is there, वो stem रहता है ना sugar cane का जो pass करता है, that remaining part is called molasses. उसका fermentation because it has got sucrose content in it, and then you get ethyl alcohol. Okay, third one is hydrogen gas. That's another fuel produced by microorganisms. So there is a lot of decomposition activity that takes place, due to which you get hydrogen gas. So when microorganisms bring about decomposition and produce fuel, they can give you three types of fuel: methane gas, ethanol, and hydrogen gas. Okay, so it is released during biophotolysis of water. Biophotolysis means water molecule is broken down in the presence of light. That's called biophotolysis. Water is H2O. So broken down means H2 and O2 is separated. So hydrogen gas is given out. Bacteria can do that. It can take place in the presence of light, is a photolysis. That's called photoreduction. Okay? Understood the meanings of these three and how microbes play a role over here? See this. These kind of fuels which are produced, okay, other industrial chemicals are also produced by microorganisms. So you have different types of alcohols, acetone, organic acids, fatty acids. Okay, they are all useful as raw materials in the chemical industry. Chemical industry is a vast industry. Lots of chemicals of daily use are prepared. Okay, you can see all these types of toys and cosmetics which can be found in anybody's home. Okay, just अपना ये toothbrush, उसका handle that is made up of plastic. Correct? The toothpaste tubes, the cosmetics pouches, whatever, all these things which you see. Okay, plastic and food products may be ये सब use होते हैं. So they are all dependent upon microorganisms. Okay. Then this is called biofuels, which are obtained from microorganisms. Okay, so biofuel production. See, nowadays, if you talk about road transport, okay, motorable transport like cars and buses and trucks and all, so we cannot just depend upon petrol, diesel and all for the transportation. The one main reason is they are fossil fuels, so their amount available in the nature is very less, so we cannot keep using that. Secondly, they cause a lot of pollution because there is a lot of emission, exhaust gases, right? So here, when you are using biofuels from microorganisms, we are using plant material. We are not using fossil fuels. Okay, so in the plants, when they do photosynthesis, their bodies convert a lot of cellulose into a lot of plant organic matter in the form of cellulose and starch. Plant cell wall contains cellulose. plant cells contain reserve food in the form of starch. So that cellulose and starch is converted to glucose by microorganisms. Breakdown. That glucose, which is the sugar, is the raw material for a lot of production of biofuel. This kind of biofuels can be used. Okay, they are liquid fuel which is produced by fermentation by microorganisms, which can be directly used in vehicles and which are eco-friendly, which can be produced in as much quantities as you want, and that will reduce the dependency on fossil fuels also. So instead of burning petrol, diesel and all, one can safely go for this kind of biofuels. So there are many vehicles nowadays which have been tried using biofuels and they're running very well. Because this is something you will always get. Fossil fuels ka amount khatam ho jayega. Their production takes millions of years. But this organic matter you will always keep getting. That's why biofuels are very important. Okay. Besides these, biofuels are also obtained from plants. There are other plants, like there are seeds of a plant called Jatropha. Okay, they can give you biofuels. There is a latex producing plants like Euphorbia, which can also give you biofuels. Okay, so biofuels can be obtained from various sources like this, but they are very eco-friendly and they are emerging ones. So a lot of research is going on production of biofuels from various such natural products. Okay. Okay. So that was about biofuels. So here we have seen two main aspects: use of microorganisms in the medical field with respect to antibiotics and all. And secondly, we have seen how microorganisms are useful for the production of biofuels and biofuels, which are used for in various industrial products as a raw material and which are useful for transportation also as a fuel. These two things we have seen for now. Okay, we will continue after this.